Can you feel the power? Feel the power of double X.
Positive Power 21.org Internet Radio.
You are listening to G.R.A.C.E. Live Worldwide Podcast. You are listening to G.R.A.C.E. Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I'm living in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, G.R.A.C.E. Live Worldwide.
That's right, you tell him, little buddy. What's up, family? What's up, world? Man, what is going on out there? Welcome, y'all, to Late Night Monday Night with me and Kimmie Kim, and our special guest tonight is Jennifer Black. All right, y'all, we're going to have a great show. I can't wait to hear this one. Been communicating with Ms. Jennifer Black and her team for a couple weeks now, so we're going to make it happen. But before we bring her out, before the Batman say hello to her, let me bring out my good friend, long friend, about over 8 years now, Kimmie Kim. What's up, Kimmie Kim?
Hi, Jerry Royce. How you doing?
I am good. What's going on in your world? Kimmie Kim world.
I can't complain. One thing I can say is it's been a great week. Very warm weather that we're having. So I am hoping that I could get back out and start back walking and enjoying, the weather. It was really cold the last 2 weekends. But overall, I'm grateful. How about you?
You so funny, Kimmie Kim. I guess you didn't see the storm system that's coming through.
Oh, Lord, here we go again. We just got rid of the cold weather last weekend.
I know. Well, we lucky here. We're going to be blessed here in the Baltimore area. In D.C., we got 63 up until Wednesday. Then they're going to drop down to 42 for a little bit. But I heard it's a storm system supposed to be coming through, I thought it said the Midwest. It's going to be like 8 degrees in some areas. Like, I think it's coming up through like Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
I thought that's what I heard on the Bloomberg report. I thought it was Bloomberg. Maybe I was on I don't know. Maybe I was on YouTube and it was another date. I don't know. I was looking at so much stuff today. Today was my day off, so I was surfing.
Oh, what did you do on your day off?
Well, we still working on getting the TV network up. So we've been doing a lot of scheduling and so many. I'm gonna tell you, not able to stream music on Facebook is a pain. That's a pain.
What do you mean?
But even the artists themselves, they can't stream their own music on their page. You can't play music. They're muted. You know that. Facebook don't let you play no music.
Really?
Yeah, it's been like that for.
Oh yeah, Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like that for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
you have to go to Instagram.
Instagram is owned by Instagram is owned by Facebook. The same thing there too.
But at least you can't do hours with them. You can only do like 5 minutes. But
right, short stuff. But I mean, like if you got a TV show and you had the artist interviewed, you can't even play their music. They're muted. So if you with a label or a distribution, you won't be able to have your music played. So everybody jumping on SoundCloud now. They just sharing their music on SoundCloud. And I mean, that's how a lot of people been getting discovered. I'm watching Bloomberg report, and I heard Kevin Lau say a lot of people be sending stuff through SoundCloud. So
SoundCloud is a platform I was on. It just was beneficial, but I am thinking about going back because I did meet a couple of people there, and I had a good time.
Yeah. And plus you can share your file. Yeah, they share stuff. And they hook you up. I like your platform, LinkedIn. LinkedIn been really, going to another level. I'm not sure if you could play music on that, but
no. Now they have it where you can really put a lot of podcasts on there. I used to be able to put all my podcasts, but now it's hard to even do a podcast. Like if I want to share my podcast from Spreaker, it won't let me.
Oh yeah. Speaking of podcasts and music, I went through your all the shows you sent me, and I wasn't able to stream any of them without editing the music out, because you got music playing in the beginning of the shows.
Yeah, we do music, but it's all the music from the independent artists that I received permission from, so I feel safe with them.
Yeah.
And most of the music, I know them or met them or interviewed them.
Yeah, because I was looking to, to play some of the shows over the weekend, but it's like I had to sit down and edit every one of them, and I just ain't had that kind of time right now. So I wasn't able to stream none of your shows on the live stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they'll meet that, man. I think they let it play over the live, but then, the playback, that's when you get most of your listeners on the playback. Not everybody can tune in live, people jumping around.
I'm talking about like the music you can't do. YouTube have an issue with music.
No, I was streaming it on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube will, what YouTube does, they allow you an opportunity. They actually have a software that edit it right out, so you can just say, okay, a claim was filed, just edit it out, right? But with Facebook, they don't do that. They just say, hey, you keep this going, and we're going to delete your account. That's what they say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, it got that really bad. Okay.
Yeah, because
I haven't been live on Facebook in years. So
okay. Yeah, that's why. You can't. Yeah. See, we actually been airing the ham radio show, and of course, we air Ron Jefferson's show, Fire Gospel Experience. He does a lot of interviews, really good interviews, but when he plays those those indie artists, we're in trouble. So I got to sit there and edit them all out in order for us to, stream them in our morning show. Because a lot of people like to listen to, radio when they're at work. And it's hard to get, you can't really get FM stations unless you know who you want to listen to.
Oh, wow.
And I think people are getting a little tired of the syndicated shows because it's the same people all the time. You want to hear...
Same people, yep.
Yeah, you want to hear about some other people.
You want to hear different voices, yeah.
That's right.
Different variety.
Yeah, so that's what we bring, variety. Right.
Exactly. That's why I love Jerry Royce and the Positive Power 21 family. We bring this.
That's right, y'all. So if you're out there, you're trying to, promote your book, new projects coming out. We're looking at a lot of authors now, too, for our television cable shows. Please hit us up. We're in production right now. We are in production, so... email me, send me your media kit and your headshot so we can get you booked on the shows. That's right. All I'm airing out of Atlanta and New York, Chicago, and North Carolina. So come on out. Hit me up. All right. You ready to talk to Jennifer Black?
I am. I am so amazed by her wonderful company. She deals with bereavement, and I was like, wow,
very unique. Yeah, I got to get her on. I think I got a book for. Well, she'll tell me. I think I got a book on Veronica, Pearls with Veronica. Veronica used her platform to help people deal with loss. Whether it's loss to your job, lost a loved one. A lot of us lost so many friends. You can't even count them no more.
I know.
So I'm going to have to bring her out there on, because Veronica, of course, she's still dealing with the loss of her husband about 6 years ago. But that was truly, that was her man, So we will see if we can get Jennifer on her show. Hey, Jennifer, welcome to Late Night. How you doing tonight?
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Kimmie. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on here. I think it's wonderful. Anytime I get to, share my story, I'm very grateful. So thank you so much, both of you, for allowing me to be on your show.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. My time is up. I only get 10 minutes to talk. So I just wanted to say hello.
You only get 10 minutes on your show.
I get 10 minutes on my show because they want to hear the ladies talk. That's right. So y'all do y'all thing. I'm right here if you need me. All right, Kimmie Kim. Have a great show, Jennifer.
Oh, okay, good. Well, wow. Well, thank you, Jerry. This is actually your podcast, and I thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to. Before we begin, my sister, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. You're amazing. You're amazing, and I love what you're doing. Bereavement is scary.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's a lot of bereavement out here, and just to know that now I have resources. Like, you know what? I got this wonderful sister named Jennifer Black. She is on point when it comes to bereavement, so I'm going to give you her information. So before we begin this wonderful show, who is Jennifer Black?
Oh, man. Who is Jennifer Black? That's a good question. I'm a woman. Foremost, I'm a woman of God. I'm a mom. I'm from New Jersey. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you perfectly. I just love the fact. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm a mom. I'm a woman. I love to dance. Aside from what I do, again, woman of God, woman of prayer. I just love serving His people. I love to have fun. I love to make jokes, and and that's who I am. And I just try to embrace that because I realize life is short, especially with the industry that I'm in.
Well, I love to dance too. What's your favorite form of dancing?
Well, I love me some Zumba. Okay, Kimmie again. I love Zumba.
Okay.
Whatever I'm feeling in my spirit. I love karaoke. Whatever's going to move me. I don't need no music. Music is great, but I could just do my own thing. By myself. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I need to hang with you then. Where you live at now?
I'm in Jersey.
Jersey, okay. Because I really found out dancing has always been one of my favorite things to do, and I used to be the type of person every morning I would dance for like 30 minutes before I do anything. And dancing is so amazing. It's free. You feel free.
It's therapeutic. It's wonderful.
Come on. You understand my issue, right, with dancing?
I mean, in the mirror, and it's just me in the mirror. It's like nobody else exists. Seriously, it's very therapeutic for me. So I get it. I totally get it.
Oh, wow. I met someone who is similar with dancing. And so
yes.
I love that about you because that means that, when we go through our ups and downs, dancing would still be there. And one thing I have found in dancing is it's very therapeutic. And I want to thank you once again. So tell me, what led you to this journey of bereavement?
Oh, man. So, experienced death in my own family. So in about around 2011, my family is very close. My mother has 7 siblings, including herself, so it's 8 altogether, and then my father is 12. And so in about 2011, on my dad's side, like our family, I don't mean to be graphic, but they were dropping like flies. That's the best way to say it, to get you to understand. Unexpectedly. I mean, one was out of state, the others were in state, but we were like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? And so at that time, I think it was probably during the second death. It was my aunt's husband. That was the one that was out of state. I'm like, God, what is going on? How are people able to like handle their affairs and grieve? Like, how does that work without things falling through the cracks? And he's like, well, because let me tell you that during this time, we were trying to figure things out. I was on the phone with medical examiners. I didn't know what I was talking. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what I was doing. We got taken advantage of by the funeral homes, and we just didn't get things right. And that was to be expected based off of, loss and trying to handle all those things. And so God said to me, you're going to be an advocate for these families. Like, you're going to make sure families don't have to go through this, so you can kind of help them during this time. And so, later on, about 2 to 3 years later, I started First 24, Bereavement Concierge Services. First 24 exemplifies the fact that we're there within the first 24 hours of your loved one's loss, depending on when you contact us. And so, I love it. I'm very passionate about people who are grieving, bereaved families who need a helping hand, because a lot of things we don't know. Even when we were going through it, I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. And the funeral home, they're not going to tell, all of them, they're not going to tell you that. And they're not all bad, don't get me wrong. But there are a lot of rotten apples, I'll put it that way, right, who won't tell you any different until you're actually in the actual predicament. And so that's how it started, loss within my own family, me seeing, the loopholes and how funeral homes are profiting, and how we're just so, we're not educated about the importance of preparation, right? Because that's what you see after the fact. And that really saddened me, but I was just grateful that God enlightened my eyes and kind of assigned that to me. And so that's how it began.
Wow. And what kind of services do you provide for those who are going through bereavement?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It started out with, holding their hand, being their advocate.
Wow.
I'm talking about, again,
That's
from
amazing.
the time that they contact us. So I'm going to the funeral home with you because I understand you're saying yes,
Wow.
you should say no, and vice versa.
Please don't stop, but I need to put this in. I have never heard of a business like yours. Please continue. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
this
me
is
either.
amazing.
That's how I knew it was God, because I'm like, okay, I would have hired me had I known this, right? And that's what happens. Like, and that's why it's so important. I will tell business owners, like, don't. It's better to like put yourself out there than like always wonder. Like, take the risk, because people need what you have. It's all about solving problems. And so I saw a problem. God showed me with my own eyes, because I went through it with my own family, and I knew there was an issue with it. And so we're there to go with you at the funeral home. I mean, I've gone with my clients. They're just in a daze. They're pretty much saying yes, and I'm like, wait, no. So what are you saying, Mr. Funeral Home person? Like, what are you saying? And so we go with you through that. We're the main liaison with your consent, of course. Just kind of going back, the back and forth and all. That gets a lot. That's like a lot. Like, did you bring their tie? Did you bring their shoes? Like, I'm still trying to get over the fact that they're gone. I don't care about that, right? So we're there with you that whole time. We are like the liaison, even with family, right? Because they, how they get too, right? Especially like those second, third, and fourth cousins who have never been on the scene until somebody died.
Come on,
right?
and all of a sudden they come. Then they come to see if they get an inheritance or they're in a will. Right, exactly.
Right, so I'm checking them too, of course, in the most professional way, Kimmie, okay? So, I'm there to pretty much be your shield, and make sure that you are able to grieve properly. While basically all I want you to do is show up to the funeral. I'm going to handle everything else. Even after that, I'm helping you, if you want us to, or if you want your family to, help you go through your loved one's things, because that's really hard. And, it's emotional, traumatic, a lot of things. We're helping you, if you need to take your deceased off of the phone bill, the bank accounts, we're helping you with that. And kind of just being your support system, right? Because listen, once the funeral's over, nobody's bringing over fried chicken and sandwiches. Okay, nobody's bringing over donuts. Everybody's going back to their lives, but you have to live this new normal without your loved one. And so we just want to be there for you and make sure, we know you're not good, but we want you to know that we're there for you, right? Because this is the biggest misconception. When people are grieving, one of the worst things you could say to them is, let me know if you need anything. Just call me, because they're not going to call you. They're just not.
No, they're not.
Send an Uber over there. Send some Uber Eats over there. Panera. Just send them something, a postcard, something, right, to let them know you're thinking of them, because they're not going to reach out. That's just how it is. And so we're there for you. So that's how it started, Kimmie. And then after that, I realized that there is a need for people after the loss, right? People are still grieving. They're still having trouble. And so I went and I received my certification. I got ICF certified to be a grief coach, excuse me, to help other people, continue on with this, because they still need support. You don't just snap and it goes away. That's not how death works and loss works, right. Grieving works. So I still want to give them, I'm always praying about products and services for, grieved hearts who need some more support to help them go through the journey of grief, because we're going through it, right? There's no, it's not like, oh, it's over. There's no time frame or anything. We're going through this thing. So that's it in a nutshell.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Because you said something that was very, very interesting, that after the funeral, that's when it's really hard. I mean, you're going through the motions of being around family, planning, and making sure everyone is doing well, especially the person that is who is affected the most by the graduation, depending on, I pray that they're going to heaven. But it's still, a process. You're going through the planning, you're eating, making sure the family's fine. When everyone leaves, you're by yourself, or you feel like you're by yourself because you just lost someone. And just to know there is a service like yours who can just still come in and, hey, I'm here to hold your hand. What can I do to help you? What is the name of your company?
It's First 24 Bereavement Concierge Services. And so the First 24, I told you, we're there within the first 24 hours. Concierge came from the fact that when I think of concierge, I think of, like when I go on vacation and I'm like, what's the best restaurant? Where can I go zip lining? Where can I do this and that? Because I tell people all the time, I'm not a therapist. I am not a real estate agent. I'm not an attorney, right? I'm not a financial advisor. But what I will do, I'm going to connect you and find somebody that's going to help you with anything that I cannot assist you with, right? Because I'm a woman of integrity, right? I love God. My family, my clients, they're my family. So I'm going to make sure that I work with people who are integral, who they can trust, right? Because they're putting their trust in me. And so if I can't give you your answers and if I can't deliver that service, I'm going to find someone that can. And so that's where Concierge came from, because, you know, it's high end. Like, I want the best for you. I'm not going to stop until I find, you know, the best possible answer for you.
Awesome. And let's say, for instance, I'm in Missouri. Can you still help me?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Go, girl. Okay.
You know,
okay.
That revelation came after COVID, because it forced us to do that, right? You know, I had clients where I couldn't be by their side, and that really, really crushed me. And so, you know, some I was able to go where it was just us and the family, and they were just kind of like a small memorial. But for the most part, I had to do a lot of virtual. And so I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do this, because I'm still going to be there
your doors.
Like I mean, I may not physically be there, but I'm gonna be there. Okay, even if I have to FaceTime the funeral home director, it doesn't matter to me. You know, like, I'm gonna get things done, you know, for my clients, because I love them, you know, and I know that this is something that they need, and I love what I do. So yeah.
And how did this come about with the book? Please tell me more about this wonderful book, the title, the reason behind it, and how does it feel in knowing that you are an author? I mean, that has to be,
Kimmie, it doesn't feel
like an
real
amazing.
Too. It doesn't feel real. And I mean, it's been about 3 years, and I have 2 books. So the first book, Here's the Hope, that came.
Go, girl.
Yeah, the first one came as a result of death. My 4-year-old, so my best friend, who is basically my sister, and I consider her daughter my niece. She's 4 years old. Her name is Hope. She passed away in her sleep in 2018, and that was devastating. I will never forget that phone call. That whole thing was devastating. So God was just reminding me that there are so many people in need of hope. Her name is so significant, and it was so like, okay, this is what God wanted me to do, and I knew more people needed it, because you know, my best friend, she wasn't the only one going through this, and so, you know, I wanted to make sure that I kept Hope's legacy alive. I kept her name relevant, and just, you know, they knowing the meaning behind the story. And so Here's the Hope was birthed from that, you know, with God and Holy Spirit, and just what we went through. And so it's a 30-day devotional to bring healing while grieving. And it's just, you know, I took the things that I went through, what I heard her say, what I heard some of my clients say, and I wanted to do real and raw, Kimmie, honestly, because people are like, you know how they say the cliche things like, what God has for you is for you. You know, God can't put more in you to get there, and all the, you know, water and sunshine. And I'm like, in some of my you know, chapters, I'm like, I can't take this anymore. Is this real? Like, is this all a bad dream? You know, the chapters and the titles are real and raw, because I wanted people to be able to connect with that and relate. Like, I'm not going to tell you it's all sunshine and roses, because it's not. It's an emotional roller coaster. That's how grief is. It's an unpredictable emotional roller coaster. You're up, you're down,
true.
You're to the ground, you're back up, you're to the ground, you're to the ground. Like, there's no specific order, there's no time frame, and I wanted to make sure that people were able to connect with that based off of the different chapters. And so that's how Here's the Hope is here. And the other one is the Passing On workbook. And that's pretty much, Kimmie, that's basically what I do in a book form. So I'm telling you, if you feel like I could do this on my own, like I don't really need, you know, First 24 to come and do things. I feel like I'm strong enough to be able to grieve and handle the affairs. So it kind of just is a checklist. So it'll tell you what to do, what documents to get together, making sure, it's kind of just trying to remind you there's a funeral checklist to make sure you have everything on that day, and just different documentation to help you during the process after someone, you know, your family, your loved one passes away.
And you are available in any state to do this. Okay. You on my radar.
Correct.
And so I just love the fact that you're allowing us to see that even when we go through our most challenging time, because death is the biggest enemy, and it doesn't go away. Like you say, it becomes more easier each day, but you never forget that loved one. I just love the fact that you're so passionate about this wonderful opportunity that God has given you, and it's very unique.
Thank you.
What has been one of your most proud moments when you realized that you were making a difference? I know you mentioned your best friend daughter, and that's I'm so sorry about that. And whoa, you're amazing. But I mean, it's something that caused you to start this. I know you said you had family members, but what was that the main trigger, or was there something else? Or because this is a really unique business. I have never heard of this. I heard of funeral homes, I heard of wheel, but concierge, this is dynamic. Right. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
This is
when I was
analytical thinking right here.
Yeah, it's God. I'm telling you, because even when I was doing my research, I found, funeral homes, and people were, even funeral homes, I mean, they were under the misconception, like, you're not a funeral home director? I mean, straight up virtually attacking me. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm not, nor do I want to be. But, I looked up different, when I was doing my research before I even launched it, I found companies that were similar, but they were very informal. So it would basically tell you like this, Kimmie. It would say, all right, you live in Austin, Texas. All right, here are 4 different funeral homes where you can go. Here are 4 different nursing homes. Or, like, it was very, you. Yeah, it was.
You're doing the work for the.
Yeah. I want you to feel like you trust me. Like, I want that trust and that comfort right away, which is what I always will receive before I even started. That's how I knew. Looking back, I'm like, oh, I was called for this, because people would just talk. I would just say hello, and they would just spill. I mean, like, I don't know why I'm so comfortable talking to you. Maybe feel like comfort and peace. And so when I look back, I'm like, oh, this is all ordained by God. And so it definitely was the multiple deaths that was the trigger. And I was already doing it, Kimmie. I was already trying to, because I was close to my family, very close with my one particular aunt. She's like a second mom to me. And so when her husband died, to me, it was like nothing. It was like me knowing, my name, like the back of my hand. It was nothing for me to do the things that I was doing. It didn't negate the fact that I was grieving, right? I love my uncle, right? But I was able to still get things done in decency and in order and professionally, and be dependable and reliant, and people, and I was able to do that. And I'm looking back like, oh, I was doing this all along. And when God told me, I was surprised, but I wasn't, because when he had me, recollect, I'm like, I was doing this all along. I've been doing this all my life, really, even with other people before the deaths, just consoling people and listening to them and actively listening to them, with different things they were going through. So it was most certainly, I guess I got the signs beforehand, but the trigger, I guess what really woke me up, the light bulb, was when God told me specifically, the Holy Spirit told me that I'm going to do this. And it made sense, not right then and there, but, like a couple weeks later, I'm like, oh, and when I would get more and more clients, I'm like, oh, okay, I see now. So yeah, and I didn't fight it. I didn't, I was nervous. I did have fear, but I'm like, listen, you call me to do this, you're going to make the way. You're going to speak through me. You're going to do this. So, yeah.
And that is one thing he will do. He will bring resources your way, because when he gives you something to do, it's bigger than us, right? So right, I'm like, wow, you're touching so many people. And, wow, kudos to you. With that being said, wow, who are some of the people that you have looked up to over the years? Because dealing with grief 24/7, I know it could be challenging as well. So who are some people that you tend to fall back on when you need like that mental break? Because you too need to take care of yourself as well.
Oh, yeah, I am a big advocate of self-care. That's i.e. dancing, right? We talked about that earlier. That's very big for me. And, I could do that all by myself. I don't need to go to the club. I don't need all my friends. I could do it by myself. That's
so you okay with family. That's what's it.
Yeah. And it's whatever self-care is to you. I tell people all the time, besides dancing, me eating an icy in Target's parking lots, people watching.
What you know about icy? What you know about icy? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite flavor? What you talking about?
I like lemon and blue raspberry, but peanut colada is good. So, I just be, I like to mix them up a little, give me variety. But, that's self-care, another form of self-care to me. And I think that's very important, because how can I help you? I pour so much, not just in my profession, but with my friends, right? With people who need help. And so when I'm able to not only pray and meditate on God's word, I need to self-care and do what's best for me. Because I even tell my husband, a lot of times when I get home from doing funerals, I'm like, Can you just take my daughter? She's 8. I'm like, can you take her and just whatever y'all gonna do, because I need to digress. Like I need to process what just happened. I don't cry at the funerals for the most part, so I have to get all of that out when I get home.
Now, how do you deal with that? That's another thing. How do you manage your emotions around others?
I guess it's God. I think I'm trained at this point, because I mean, it takes, some of the ones, I mean, I was like, the tear almost came on my cheek, right? I mean, I would let it, but that's fine. But I just try to stay,
within the realms, right?
Yeah, for my client, if it comes down, it comes down. I'm not like trying to hide it, but for the most part, I try to stay more poised and comforting, and it's just something that I do because I just feel like it helps me, it helps my client,
right?
To just stay. But again, if it comes, I mean, there have been times where the tears did come down. I just couldn't help it. But I'm not like shoulder shrugging until I get home. So I do the self-care. I digress. I spend time with my family, and I try not to infuse it. Sometimes it does get it, because the thing is, Kimmie, I'm learning now not to take it on so heavily, because it does affect my family. It affects my marriage, because my husband is aware of the gift that I have. I mean, I could wake up sobbing, crying over people I don't even know who have passed away, feeling their family's pain. And I just have to pray and learn how to compartmentalize it. Not in any type of insensitive way, but just so I can live my life. Because if I don't, then I'll be, crying all day, every day in a corner somewhere. Yeah, my family definitely helps me, and being able to administer self-care is very important. I do that is non-negotiable. Okay. Spending time with my friends, non-negotiable. Any type of self-care, that's non-negotiable. And, my husband is aware of it. My family is aware of it. And it works. So, yeah.
Wow. Jennifer, you are an amazing servant for the Lord. You are allowing people to, you're welcome. You're allowing people to feel at ease, because it's very emotional planning your loved one's funeral. This is the last time you see them. You want everything perfect. What kind of advice would you give to someone right now who is facing bereavement, because you are a coach? What are some of the steps that is helpful for someone to go through? Like, I know they need to, come and consult you, but give them a couple pointers, not all of it.
Absolutely, I would love to.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and I'm going to first preface that by saying, so with coaching and therapy, and don't even feel that with the tips I'm going to give you, if you're not ready for that, that's totally fine. So therapy deals with the past. So that's like, oh man, I can't get over this. And this death could have been a year ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20, 30. There's no time frame on grief. Remember that. And so you're like, I'm just stuck here, right? So therapy deals with that. Coaching is saying, okay, I am ready to move forward. I don't know how. I need somebody to hold my hand to show me how to get there. I'm going to tell them where I want to go, but I need help, those steps to get there. That's what coaching does. And that's what I do. So in regards to anyone that's dealing with grief, right, and you feel stuck, a couple things. You can, first of all, give yourself grace, right? Again, there's no time frame, there's no guidelines, there's no instructions.
Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, you need to allow
before
yourself.
You do the steps. Yeah. I have met people who tells a pastor, "Oh, you're a pastor, get over it." But that person is human.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, I mean, my cousin, her husband passed away in, was it 15? Both of them are only in their mid-30s, motorcycle accident. And one of the family members told her, I think it's time you start dating and move on. What? This is my husband for years. We have 3 children, and you're telling me the insensitive things people say, that's a whole different thing. But I would say to, again, give yourself grace. Allow yourself to feel what you feel while you heal, is what I often say, right? Whatever that is. I've gotten to a point, because for the most part, Kimmie, I consider myself a strong person, right? I don't wear my feelings on my sleeve. I'm very, stoic, assertive, things like that. But grief lately has had a way of bringing me to my knees, right? I have no choice. And so I've embraced my grief. If I gotta cry, guess what I'm gonna do? Do that.
I'm crying. I'm crying, baby.
If you don't deal with grief, it has a way of dealing with you in the most inconvenient way. You could be at the doctor's office, at the supermarket, but because you keep bubbling it in, the littlest, slightest thing, you could see an ice cream cone and just lose it because you and your grandmother used to go get ice cream. So allow yourself to feel what you feel while you heal. Another thing I would say is to, as I spoke about earlier, get a therapist or, if you want to do a support group or the therapist can be virtual or in person, but see what works for you. You have to kiss a few frogs. I definitely did. I'm like, no, this is not working. On to the next, right? But don't just count it out because one person's not good. That's just how it's just like a relationship. You just have to see what's good for you. And then when you find the right therapist, you're like, good. And you will start to be able to heal better and feel like you can trust them to vent and get those things out that you've been holding in. Another thing I would say is to start a foundation, some type of foundation, charity in memory of your loved one. So if they died from domestic abuse, start awareness on that. If it was from lupus or, congestive heart failure, start a foundation, a therapy, something on health and being more healthy. Things like that really bring joy to people who are dealing with grief because it lets them feel like they're leaving a legacy and keeping the memory alive of their loved one. So that's a great one too. Discover a new hobby. Maybe you hated axe throwing and now you love it. It's a form of self-care and just getting out your emotions and your whatever's going on inside, right? So try a new hobby, cooking, things like that. Don't knock it until you try it. Because when you lose a loved one, there is something in you that does die, right? There's something different. There's something different about you, and things you used to love, you may not love anymore, and vice versa, and that is okay. And just understanding again that there's no rules when it comes to grief. You have to allow. We're learning this. I'm still learning it. And also that we grieve other things. I think Jerry may have talked about it. We do grieve other things, not just the physical loss, right, of that person no longer being on this earth, but job loss, relationship loss, a business, a business venture gone wrong, partnership, just done, right? Loss of a pet, loss of identity, right? With all this pandemic stuff, loss of what used to be. So many people, people weren't able to be with their loved ones for the holidays because flights were canceled because they just didn't want to compromise their grandparents getting sick or their parents getting sick and things like that. So there's a lot of loss that we deal with that doesn't involve a physical loss of that person no longer being here. And because we kind of diminish and play it down and we don't deal with it, it deals with us in different areas of our lives. And so we need to be okay with grieving that thing. It's okay. Like, ma'am, I gained 15 pounds. I'm grieving what I used to be, the way I used to be, right? Or I'm grieving the fact that me and my best friend, we're not best friends anymore. I'm grieving the fact that I'm a divorcee. Whatever that is, that's okay. It's okay. You should be grieving those things and allowing yourself to do that in a healthy manner, because if you don't, again, if you do not deal with grief, it has a way of dealing with you. So those are just a few tips in regards to, helping you move forward and cope with grief in a healthy way. As long as you're not hurting yourself or someone else, then just go through those stages, those emotions, all those different things. Go through them. Allow yourself to experience and feel those things.
Awesome. And you mentioned something very, very cool. You said that there is no time limit on grief. I love that, because I know people who, have moved on and they don't have any bitter, but there are times when you can still reflect and say, wow, this is the month that I met so-and-so on 20 years ago and they're gone. But that's a good, I think that's healthy, because you're realizing that they're gone, but it doesn't cause you to, step away from the reality that they're gone, or it doesn't take away, but you're just having a memory. You know how that song may come on. You're like, wow, that was the song that so-and-so used to, and I used to, dance to, or me and my grandmother used to love this movie, or auntie. But I really believe that is important what you just said, because some people tend to break down the bereavement and they don't grieve properly, and then sometimes it becomes more of a mental illness, because it can trigger down if you don't take care of it. Like you said, you have to definitely tackle whatever you are grieving. Grieving I just love, and also you just mentioned that grieving is not always death. Yes, we grieve in so many different ways. Girl, you talking about me about 15 pounds. I just gained 15 pounds, girl.
Listen, it's real, and that's good. That I mean, to your point, yeah. I mean, a song you could have heard, like a scent, right? I remember anytime I hear a Mama song by Boyz II Men, I'm talking about breakdown, shoulder shrug, and I think about my Nana. And one time I was in the store, and there was it was a long line. There was an older lady. She was trying to get in the line. I let her in front of me. She reminded me of my Nana so much. I could not. I was like, it was bubbling over. As soon as I got in the car, I just lost it, because she reminded me of her mannerisms and all of that. But I allowed myself just to get it out, and that's okay. And it may come, thank God I was able to deal with my grief beforehand, and I was able to. And not saying, I mean, if you want to let it out in the store, that's fine. But I was able to compose myself until I got into the car. I didn't want to startle her either. Like, what did I do? But you have to, allow yourself to do those things, and it could be something as little as a little old lady trying to get in the front of you. Like I said, ice cream, a song, a scent, a sound, right? There's so many different things that will make you, and you're like, oh, I'm doing good today. I feel good today. And then, by 6 p.m., you're like, wait, what's happening? And that's okay. That's all right. That is all right.
Awesome. Now, Jennifer, I just can go on and on with you. I just love your wonderful information, because this is definitely therapeutic, and thank you so much. What does a healthy bereavement look like? And when it's healthy, do you ever get over it?
No, we get through it, right? We're going through it. There's not... Okay. You don't, it's not like you just get over it, right? You go through it. As long as you're on this earth, you're going to go through it. I know I've read some books where they're like, not that they have a time frame, but they're like, you'll get to a point where you're just over it. I don't agree with that. I'm with you with that. That's what I was asking, because I don't believe so. If you lose a child, you think I'm going to just get over that?
No,
absolutely not. That's not how it works. So I don't really agree with that, because I'm going to be grieving this thing until I leave this earth, and that's just what it is. And so, and that's okay. That's okay. You just, with time, you just learn how to cope with it better, right? So, it's real raw when it happens, but as time goes, you learn to cope with it. Now, there are some exceptions. Of course, the anniversary of the death, right? That brings a whole bunch of triggers and emotions and things like that. Their birthday, your anniversary, things like that. That weighs down. But, I use the example of my uncle all the time. My father's brother, their mother died, I'm talking about almost 30 years ago. Every Mother's Day, every birthday, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, he drives over an hour to her burial site to bring flowers, because that helps him. Now, others would say, she's not there. Why does it matter, right? But that's what helps him. That's what helps him. That's what helps him.
That's awesome.
Right, and that shows you that that's not something he just gets over. This man is like 70 years old, and his mother died almost 30 years ago, and so that's still raw for him. So no, it doesn't just go away.
But it's healthy. It's healthy for him, right?
It's helping him. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I love the fact what you just said, that everyone doesn't have the same remedy. Everyone has a different way of coping, and I just love that example about your uncle with 30 years of. Wow, that's amazing. Because I'm gonna be honest. My first love, he passed away back in 1990, and I still be like, oh, May is coming. This is the month that I met him. So it doesn't take away from the fact that I am grieving. It just, you just remember the good times. And so with that being said, I love the fact that you say you don't ever get over it, because you don't.
Right, exactly. It doesn't work that way. This person was in your life, whether it was for, a year or 30 years, right? They made an impact in your life. So it's for anyone to think that after a year or two, 15 years, it's just going to go away. That's not how it goes, because we act off of our hearts, off of emotions and things like that. So you don't just forget someone like that. Even if, I know people that remarried whose spouse had passed away and they remarried, And they still think about that person when, and to your point, when an anniversary comes up, a death anniversary or their anniversary or a birthday or something, you're not supposed to be like, oh, because I'm married, I can't think about. That's not how the heart works. It's just not. Like, you don't just forget about them. That's not how we're wired. And so, it is very much normal to think about them especially when those things come up, or every now and then, if you come across a scent or you come across a shirt or a color or something, or somewhere you used to go, that is that's how it is. And you shouldn't harbor that or feel bad about that. It is healthy because it's like, oh, I'm okay, yeah, like I remember that, So
I like
that's why I say give yourself grace. I like you too.
I like you, Jennifer. We know how to stay in touch because Jerry. Thank you for bringing her on because this is amazing. So, I thank you so much for your information, and you're making legacy. You're making a legacy. And with that being said, what would you like your legacy to be if when God calls you home and your wings, what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind?
I want God to just be proud, and just my legacy to be that I helped families during one of the most devastating times in their lives, right? I gave it everything I had, with integrity, with compassion, with love, right? With comfort, with peace. And that I help them. I think you asked this too. One of the most pivotal times in my life was when there was a young lady who purchased my book, and then she wrote me on Facebook, and she's like, this book, here's the hope. She's like, this was so good. Like, thank you. Like, my son committed suicide, and I read this book, and like this helped me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just lost it. Of course, she didn't hear or see me do that, but I'm like, it's all worth it because, sometimes as entrepreneurs and, when we have businesses, it's like, okay, God, what are you doing here? I mean, is this reaching anybody? You wanted me to do this. I don't feel, I don't see the effects. I don't feel it. And then you get those DMs, you get certain things, certain reminders that remind you, like, even if it was just for her, Kimmie Kim, I'm good. I'm good. And
one person. What did he say?
That I want.
Touching one person. And I'm sure you touched more than one. Wow.
So my legacy is that I want to be there. Right now. Yeah. Thank you for one of the most devastating, because God says in the Bible to take care of the orphans, take care of the widows, And so I just want to be there to help these families during this time, because some of them, there are widows and widowers who have no idea what to do. I'm talking about no idea what to do because their spouse did everything, and they feel lost and just, alone, even with family, to your point, right? You could feel like you're in a room full of family and still feel alone because they don't get it. And so, that's what I want my legacy to be, for God to just be pleased and know that I did everything I could to help these families during one of the most devastating times in life, and being their advocate. Yeah.
Wow. You're amazing, and just knowing that you're waking up with a legacy to help others, this is very unique. I saw that, I was like, wow, I've seen so many different coaches, but I've never seen a bereavement coach, life coach, and you have so much joy and so much peace in your voice, in your heart. I could just feel you. Wow, I just think you're so amazing, and wow. That's all I can say. I mean, I was like, okay, bereavement, this is different because and business is so unique.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, and I try to, and the thing is, people do get confused because it can be confused because it's like, wait, what do you do? They're more intrigued, like, wait, now what is it now? So you're not a funeral director, you're like, and I want to spread the education, because the other thing, Kimmie, is that we help families prepare for death. And so as I went through the things I went through, I'm like, oh man, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. And I see, unfortunately, you see a lot of things on Facebook where families can't afford, they're asking money for the funeral. They can't afford it. It does sadden my heart. And one of the things I do pray to God is that we could be a resource where we can help families with their expenses and get to that level. But one of the things I want to help you with is preparing for death, right? So we help you prepare for death, making sure you have your last will and testament, your last wishes. Do you want to be buried, cremated? Do you want to be in Miami? Do you want to be in Michigan? That it brings chaos and confusion when you don't tell your family what's going on, and it's not good. I'm telling you, people, when death happens, it has a way of bringing out people's true colors. Okay, red, black, white, and everything in between. And so we want to make sure that you are prepared so that when the person does transition, it's smooth sailing. Like, you don't have to worry. You don't have to have that financial burden about, do we have enough money to pay them? Do we have to do a GoFundMe? You don't have that burden. You have that release of, because your finances are in order, then that person left a good amount of finances for you, so you can handle things when they're no longer here and still live the lifestyle that you were living, because you all took care of things beforehand. And so we help you with that as well, because I saw that and I experienced that as well. So yes, it's like a full thing, being there before death, right, during, and then after. That's kind of how I explain it with what we do. But we, a lot of it is promoted with the aftercare, but the before care as well, because that's very important. That's very, very important, because you want to. It's just hard to deal with all the things that come with death, and so relieving that pressure, is a good thing to do for your family.
Well, my sister, we are out of town, but I'm definitely going to keep in touch with you. How can people reach out to you? I mean, if they want your services and your amazing services, your website, everything.
Thank you. They can go on, so you can go on Jennifer D, as in Denise Black. That is my Instagram. That's most of my handles. The website is www.first24loss. Now, it's the number 1, the letters ST, the number 24 loss, LOSS, but it's probably better to go on like any of the social media handles. Look up Jennifer D, as in Denise Black. You'll find out everything in regards to contacting me, and if you just need to sit down to find out where you're at, kind of review what you have going on, and whatever it is you need, we'll definitely be there for you.
Wow, my sister, thank you so much for coming on. And Jerry, this is so unique. Jennifer, you're amazing. But before you leave, I would like for you to pray us out. But I want to ask Jerry, do you have any more things you'd like to add before we close the show? Because this is so unique. I'm still wow, I've never heard of your business.
I know, much needed. Yeah. And during these times now, I knew a minister. I think he told me in 2020 he went to like 48 funerals. So because he was in his church was in the city. A lot of people still didn't get the news. A lot of them not connected to the internet. That's why a lot of us know some more than we need to know. Especially now they're talking about a new strain of the variant is out now, and they don't believe that the vaccine is going to be effective because it's already sweeping through Denmark and South Africa. So be probably back in a mask mandate. I think some of the states just let up for a week. So be careful out there, y'all. This one right here, the BA.2, the Omicron is going to be a little different animal. So gotta tighten up, y'all. And a lot of us been on
masking here, so
because Kimmie,
I don't know you.
Because you've been sick. You know what it's like. Yeah. One of my friends, he's a former police officer. Stay in the weight room. I think now he does some kind of top security. He said he was on his back for 14 days because he was trying to man it up. Yeah.
I'm not trying to man it up. Oh, no.
He's trying to do it himself. Yeah. Elderberry and all that stuff. Sometimes you need modern medicine, y'all. For those of you that still got the conspiracy theories, just think, you get that headache, I'm quite sure you popping those aspirins and you don't have a clue where they come from.
Right.
One NyQuil. Well, anyway, Jennifer, keep doing what you're doing. We got to get you on Pearls with Veronica. That audience know a lot about what you're talking about. That's why they tune in. They going through some of the things you just talked about. And it's another form of counseling, because some people are not going to reach out or can even afford the kind of counseling they need to get through it, because it's going to be long term, So Yeah, it's tough. And I know I went through it with my wife with her cousin, and man, that thing went on for years. Because then you're dealing with relatives, because now people trying to, half sisters and half brothers coming out of the woodwork. And they want stuff.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So and then the lawyer.
Who are you?
Probate. You know.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It is. It's a heartache. So everybody, and I've been running an Affleck commercial coming out of Atlanta about getting your business in order. Even if you're young, a lot of us hope that we live 70, 80, 90, but we don't know. Just like you talk about the motorcycle accident, get your business, AAA, ARP, they offer some pretty good prices for insurance. Now I had some bad experience.
Prime America.
Yeah.
Prime America owns, they are very cheap.
Yeah, they cheap
America.
too.
You get $1 million policy. Whew.
Yeah. Now, I know I had some bad experiences when I went through, I think, my union to get insurance. And then you find out, you get a letter that something happened to either your direct deposit, which is not your bank fault, but on their case. And then you find out you owe 3-4 months behind back payments. And a lot of times people can't give them a check for $300-$400, then that policy lapse, and then sometimes they only tell you that they switch carriers, and so you gotta stay on top of it. So you do need to go with some of your larger companies if you can help us. So Prime America, ARP, and I'm not endorsing any of them, but I know AAA and them, they've been around for a very long time, over 100 years. So get your stuff, and if you buy,
not a good one. Yeah.
And I think if you buy while you under 50, it's a lot cheaper than you wait till you in your 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much misconception. I am a licensed insurance agent. I don't sell it. I just wanted to get it because I wanted to be able to tell my clients about it. Because sometimes you have to die like on a Tuesday at 5:00. People don't know. They don't know their policy, and so to your point, you got to review it every year. Things change. You have babies. You get divorced. Like you're older.
Yeah.
So you gotta look at. You can't just get it at 20 and be like, I'm set.
Yeah, because you bought a cheap one.
At 50, what if it's over? At 30?
Yeah, that's right. And it's a chance when you're in your 20, you probably bought one that just covered your credit cards and your car. When you get older, you get in homes, and the price of homes now, if you live in a decent home, it's going to cost you $300+. So you definitely got to get yourself a pretty decent policy to continue, so your family can continue to live the lifestyle that they were used to living while you were alive. So I get it.
Yep.
I get it. All right, yeah, ladies. Well, that's the end of our program. So we appreciate you, Jennifer. And again, we will have you back. Make sure I book you for our Veronica show, and we'd love to have you on the TV show as well to talk about, people don't think about this stuff. They just, doing whatever they're doing. All right. Yeah. So we get you on some more.
All right.
Yeah, get you on some other media platforms. All right, Kimmie, Kim, you already signed off? You did your thing?
No, I'm waiting on my prayer from my sister, Jennifer Black, and then I'm going to sign off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll pray us out. So, God, we thank you, Lord. We thank you, God, for this wonderful time that you've allowed us to come together. We thank you for everything you've done for us today, life, health, and strength, allowing us to see another day, God, giving us purpose, God, creating us, God, for your will and what you have for us to do on this earth, God. We are so grateful that you're using us as your vessels, God. We thank you, God, for even this platform, God, to bring out education, God, and encouragement and inspiration, God, through this show. I thank you for Kimmie, Kim. I thank you for Jerry, God, and what you're doing through them and through the platforms, God, and how it's touching people and how the syndication is just going all over, God. We ask, God, that you enlarge their territory, God, more and more, that they just continue to do the work that you have called them to do, God. We're so grateful, God. Everyone that's listening, God, we ask, God, right now that you touch their hearts. Anyone that's dealing with grief right now in any way, oh, God, we ask that you mend their hearts, God. Give them your peace, your comfort, your strength, oh, God, to live day to day, God, and just to know, God, that all things are possible through you, God, that there is nothing too hard for you, nothing you can't fix, and no heart that's broken that you can't mend, God. So we're just so grateful, God. We love you, God. We ask, God, right now that you give us a good night's sleep, God, that we are refreshed for tomorrow, God, and that we have just a great week going forward, God, and we give you all these praises in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Any final words, Kimmie, Kim?
I just want to say, wow, my sister, thank you for this wonderful information. And family out there, no matter what you're going through, it's never too hard for God. And I really believe in crying. Cry yourself out, because I'm still reminded that Jesus wept. Yes, I am a crybaby, but I don't believe in staying there. Yeah, I am a crybaby.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I heard you.
and Jennifer's like, you're amazing.
And keep it moving. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
All
And
right.
there's no time for bereavement. Thank you for
That's
confirming
right.
that.
Give God the glory.
Your time may not be my time, so don't tell someone to get over it. That's me.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly.
All right. We thank you again, Jennifer, for being part of this program. And Kimmie Kim, great interview. Again, thank you. And don't forget, y'all, every Monday, we're right here at 10 o'clock, but we start at 7 o'clock with Mr. and Mrs. Devil Slayer out in New York. And then we got, don't forget, tomorrow we got Bible study at 8 o'clock for those of you that missed church this Sunday. That's right. Pastor V will be here with Bible study at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got more programming for you. Don't forget, we run the Hair Morning Show all during the day. You can catch it at 11 o'clock right after this show with Curry Hines out of Brooklyn. And again, y'all have a good night. And thank you so much for joining us right here at Late Night with G.R.A.C.E Live Worldwide and Kimmie Kim.
You are listening to G.R.A.C.E Live Worldwide Podcast.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double XI.
Positive Power 21.org. Internet radio.
You are listening to G.R.A.C.E Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I'm living in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, G.R.A.C.E Live Worldwide.